have now progressed, would you say that women are equal to men?
Does anyone care to start?
Take it away,
Are we saying that there was a time when we weren't equal?
Absolutely.
100%.
Definitely not equal. Women were not able to work. Women didn't even have the right to vote. Women were at home. We weren't able to do things that we're able to do now. Like, things have progressed.
Yeah.
You know? So is it fair to say that now we're in an era that women can be classified as equal to men?
Yeah. What I think, though, is that we should differentiate between us being equal and us being treated as equal. Because then if we say we're not equal and now we're becoming equal, we're saying that our equality was dependent on society. It was dependent on what they saw of us. But we were always equal, but obviously we weren't treated
Equally.
that way. So I think that disclaimer is needed, first of all. But having said that,
Why do you think we were always equal, though?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're a better person just because you're a guy.
Why is that? Because in my mind, I see it as naturally, from the beginning of time, men were the survivors. We were created to hunt. Like, our brain is programmed to hunt. Women, you're programmed to be mothers, take care of your families, that kind of thing. So with men, we can survive. We don't need women to survive. Naturally, anyway. Now in society, obviously, we have money, and I'm talking about caveman days. So, like, caveman days, to survive, a man can survive, innit? But a woman, you couldn't. Because you're not given the tools. Like, in your brain, it don't work like that. Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Why'd you say that?
You know, that's quite interesting.
You're saying a female can't survive on her own, but a man
I'm not saying can't, but I'm saying generally speaking, program-wise, men were programmed to survive. We were programmed to hunt. That's why, like, as things progressed, obviously we're moving forward, but our brains are different.
You know, I think that's quite interesting. Because when you think about it, no man will exist today without a woman. Every man comes from a woman.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I think you have to acknowledge that in terms of, yes, we have to come through a woman to exist in the first place. As you mentioned, women are mothers. So,
I don't know about that. Because if, for example, if you're a Christian, for example, your belief is that Adam come first, no?
Okay.
And if Adam come first, then we wouldn't think come out a woman. Men were here first. And then if you're a Christian anyway, a woman came from the man's rib to support, to help. So why does that now mean we're equal?
So I think just because we have different functions, different functions doesn't mean that we're not equal. Just because we're supporting or you're able to do something and we're more prone to do something else doesn't mean that you're a better person or we're not equal. Just because we're better at different things. It's just like having a team of people and you specialize in different areas. You have the same level of value, but you're better at different things and you come together and you make something that is, you know, better than when you're separate.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So then, if that was the case, why did God put man first then?
That's a question for God.
Yeah. Also, he didn't finish there.
So what do you think then?
No, because
what's the explanation? Why do you feel like man come first?
I can't answer that question. It's not a question that I've actually given time to thinking about. But in terms of the question we have today, are men and women equal? Most definitely. I can't think of anything other than giving birth, which is something that was bestowed upon us from above. What can a man do that a woman can't? And vice versa.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how they're not equal. If we're talking about are they treated equally, that's a completely different conversation. But are we equal? 100%. I can't.
True.
I see women that are doing better than me, doing more than me.
Yeah. I think the major issue there's always this competitive element that it's man versus woman. Like, you know, you got man on one side and woman on the other side. We're meant to work in collaboration. You get what I'm trying to say? So, this whole, like, yes, we're equal once we work in collaboration with one another. As Bookie mentioned earlier, once you utilize the strength of a woman and a man together to go towards a common goal or common cause, then I think you bring out the strength to get to that objective or to get to that end goal or destination. It's not, okay, you know, you're a man, you get paid X amount, and because you're a woman, you can do the same thing, you get paid Y. I think it's, how do we get to this common objective together as man and as woman in life? And in terms of are men equal, I think you can see examples in sport with tennis, for example, where, you know, you've got Grand Slams like Wimbledon, the French Open, where women and men actually been paid on equal par, because they are kind of doing similar type of things. I mean, some people will say women play 3 sets, men play 5 sets, but I think women are being acknowledged more for the roles that they are playing in society, which I think is good, because we shouldn't downcast the roles that women play in society. I mean, for example, World War I and II, women were creating machinery and armory for men who were on the front line to defend, you know, the Western world. So those exploits are not necessarily brought to the table, to the forefront. So I think it is healthy that women have the platform now to express the good deeds and the good things they are doing in society. But there are still small differences in terms of the components of a man and the components of a woman, that, not to say that they're not equal, I just think they're different.
It makes us different.
Yeah, one of the things that I find is that now, I feel like men are taking advantage of it now. That now that we've been given this platform to do certain things and we can do what you guys can do, we're getting to a point where men are like, stuff like on the train. We see men and women fighting for seats on the train. I'm trying to understand.
If we're equal, then why does it matter?
That's what I'm saying.
Down if I want to sit down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, women are standing up for pregnant women, but men are still sitting down.
Yeah, that
it's like, what's happening to being a gentleman? Is it that now all of a sudden that women can do this, really the same thing as you? Now you're thinking that, okay, well, you know what? I'm tired, just like you can stand up, instead of me standing up. Do you know what I'm saying?
But would you say that equates to the man thinking that we're not equal? I guess it's just him.
No, I think he's seen it but he's seen it as he's equal, because like still a mother would still, regardless of her being tired, she's been working all day. If there's a seat on the train, she's tired, she's going to give it up for her child. Do you get what I'm saying?
But you said women standing up for women that are pregnant, maybe because they can relate, like they're thinking, okay, I know how that...
But back in the day, men would actually stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Chivalry is not the same as it used to be. It's like...
Chivalry. It's either there or it isn't.
Yeah, so but I don't think it's here in this society. People don't care no more.
Do you think that's a problem?
I don't. Why?
Because
Why
of the equality. Now that you guys have seen it as like,
Why
oh yeah, you know what, women have this platform to do what we're doing. We're going to take them just as us. But still, like, even though I do feel like we're becoming equality in terms of how we're being treated, the gap is getting a bit closer. I still feel like men are merging it and thinking that we are the same, but there's a difference. There's a difference between being treated equally and us being the same. We're still not the same as you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's certain things like you said before, men are the hunters, women are the natural caregivers. Yeah, fair enough. You may get some certain men who may be better stay-at-home dads than women, or who may women who may be earning more than her husband in certain cases. But still, for me, I'm trying to understand that, okay, with this whole equality thing, like, in certain areas, we're equal. In other areas, we're not equal. Do you get what I mean?
What areas?
It's like,
what areas would you say we're not equal?
Like, still in pay. Like, fair enough, you may use that example of tennis, but in other areas, it's still not the same.
100%.
Yeah.
It's still not the same.
Those things are just going to take time, though. What else is like? It's just going to take a bit of time.
Even in terms of when like your child is sick, who's most likely to take a day off at work? It's the mother. You know
Not
what I'm saying?
necessarily. I think now it's changed. Whoever's making the most money, whatever makes the most sense is what we'll do.
That's it.
If you make more money, you go to work, I'll stay at home. If I make more money, I go to work and you stay at home.
But you know what's quite interesting? You mentioned in work, because I mean a key example of this equality is normally doing childbirth. So, for example, you have maternity and paternity leave.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that are fighting to say that men should have a lot more paternity leave, so they can be at the start stages of, or the beginning stages of their child's life, between maybe like 0 to 6 months. Those are the time periods where you want to be the most intimate with your child. And a lot of men don't have that capability to do that. So I know in certain countries like Sweden and in Scandinavia, you can share paternities where a woman she can reduce her paternity and offload it to her husband. So in the society we live in now, in the UK, that is not the case. Like if a woman is to give birth, like she will have maybe 6 to 12 months off, and the man will have 2 weeks. So I think in that case, like if there is equality, surely something like that should be shared, because it takes 2 to raise a child, if not more. I mean, there's a saying, it takes an entire village to raise a child. So surely it should be the case where if we are now starting to bring on equality, things like paternity and maternity should be equal, right?
Same, I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
I
And like
agree.
even in terms of the
100%.
home, like are gender roles being merged? Is there such thing as gender roles? Do you know what I mean? As in, like, is it that now that a man can stay at home and a woman can go to work, like we're given this ability to sort of define our own relationships?
Yeah, that's
You know?
it. I think it's just each relationship's going to be different. Whatever works for you two is what you do. If it's better for the man to do something, if the man's a better cook, for example, and he enjoys cooking, let him cook. If the woman enjoys cooking, whatever works for your relationship is what you should do. Like, it's different for each relationship now, I reckon.
But
I think it's not set. It's not set no more.
Say, for example, if a woman doesn't cook, does that make her less of a woman?
It doesn't make her less of a woman, but then it depends who she's married to.
Yeah.
So if that man is raised in a certain way and that's all he knows, like that's his recollection of a woman, what's he supposed to do about that? He's seen in his life. Obviously, he can still learn, cool, this woman doesn't want to cook. He can learn that, but it's a process because at the end of the day, his idea of a woman is she's going to cook and clean.
But what about if a man stays at home and his woman is the breadwinner? Does that make him less of a man?
No, why?
Because apparently that's what men are meant to do in the household. They're meant to provide for their families. This is what I've been taught. This is what I've heard constantly growing up from
I don't think it makes you less of a man because at the end of the day, you're putting your family first. And that is what you do as a man. You have to drive your family. As long as you're putting your family first and making the right decision for your family, that's the most important thing. Whether the woman goes to work, no matter what it is, as long as you're making the right decision for your family, whatever the idea is, it don't make you less of a man, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, because, you know, what I said before about us being able to define our own relationships, like, I think the role as parents is for us to provide financially, emotionally, physically, mentally. So these are the things that we're meant to give. And if someone's giving it more than the other one, then let that person, and they do it better than the other, then let that person do it. But I think it's also important to have that sort of like a balance because, you know, like, for your kids to see certain things and traits in in their parents as well. Cause you know, then it's going to be like, what are we teaching our kids? How do we want them to be raised, or what perception do we want them to have?
You know, this whole equal thing, I think it's quite flawed because in order for men and women to be equal, you're gonna have to balance certain things. There's gonna be certain strengths you're gonna have to balance to be in alignment with a woman and vice versa. And I think more so it's about how do we utilize our strengths? You know, how do we utilize our strengths? Because being equal is meaning, for me personally, I interpret that as everyone has to be uniform, everyone has to be the same, but we're all uniquely made. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different strengths. Everyone has different weaknesses. But as I said before, so how can we utilize these strengths to work collaboratively to achieve things in life? Because if I'm now seeing a woman, I'm like, okay, you know, you have to live life the way I do and vice versa. I'm not really going to be attracted to that anyway. You know, everyone's trying to seek something slightly different, something that's going to add and contribute to
just following up on what you were saying. So how would you feel, for example, if your son said, I aspire to be like a stay-at-home dad, that's what I want to do? How are you reacting to that? Because some women are like that. Some women are saying, marry a rich man.
I'm not even going to lie, I will have a problem with that.
Why is that?
Because even if my daughter was to say that as well, I would be like, listen, we have been given opportunity to reach our full potential. Why on earth would you want to just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to stay?
But that's you personally. But in terms of society then, because women can casually say, I don't even want to work no more. I just need to find me a rich man. People post that on social media. Yeah, I just need to find me a rich man. And it's acceptable in society. No,
not really. Not really.
Some
because
people have, it's okay.
Not really. Not
okay.
anymore. Because you'll still have a lot of women like saying like stuff like, oh, that's a lazy woman. What man, she's a gold digger. You get all that kind of
thing. They'll say all that, but they'll still be alright. They'll still be alright,
I rarely hear women
they'll
say
be
that.
calm. They aspire, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. When I have my kids, I'm just going to stay at home. My husband could go to work.
I don't know. I find a lot of women doing more more than necessary. Like even statistically, I think there was like a study saying that how there's more women who are graduating more than men. Do you know what I'm saying? Like women are now aspiring more because we've been given that platform.
Why does that mean that you're aspiring more just because you're graduating?
No. We're aspiring more for ourselves, not in terms of there's a competition between men. Like we're aspiring more for ourselves because we want more. We've been given this opportunity. Before we didn't have that opportunity. We couldn't even we hardly had a voice. Now we have a voice. Yeah. We're going to use it. We're going to do what we want to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
In the eye of society, if a woman turned around and said, I want to be a stay-at-home mum.
I don't know.
Here's the difference. The reaction to a woman saying that is going to be different to a man saying that.
I agree with you.
You're right.
Yeah. But you do have some stay-at-home mums who are, first of all, as a mother, I'm not a mother, but as a mother, when you stay at home and you look after your children, it is a lot. To do. Yeah. So it's not like they're just sitting around doing nothing. But also you have a lot of mompreneurs and they do things whilst they're at home. They're not just sitting at home. They create some sort of business and do something with that time. I see you smiling. They do something with it. So it's not like they're just staying at home, but they're creative in what they can even whilst staying at home.
I understand that, but I don't think that changes the mentality you're going to have towards that person. If a man was to say, I want to be this is what I want to be.
If a man wants to say, I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad, and I'm going to set up this business, then that makes sense. I'm not going to look at him down.
But sometimes they don't say they're going to set up this business. Sometimes they stay at home and then they realize I've got all this time. What am I going to do with this time? And then they're just birthed. So sometimes you don't have that mindset at the start. So if you're in a relationship with a man now, for example, and you're earning good money and you say, look, once I have my children, I just want to stay at home and just look after them. What are you going to think about that man? Honestly.
I don't think I would be in a relationship with someone like that.
You see what I'm saying?
No, but it's not about gender. It's just about why would you want to aspire to just stay at home?
Alright, cool.
I don't think it has anything to do with the gender.
In terms of society's view on that situation then?
I don't see why anyone would want to go to work every day and do such, so much with their time and then want to come back to someone who just stays at home and does nothing.
Men do that all the time. We've been doing that for years. They go work.
But the funny thing is
their wife is looking after the kids. What's wrong with that?
I think there's a bit of a difference because Sorry, do you want? No,
I was just going to say, even when we go back to when, you give birth to a child and that beginning stage when you're looking after the child, there's a lot that a woman does that a man cannot do.
Thank you. And that's one of the points. That's one of the...
No one's blaming you for anything, but I'm just saying, you can't just say that we're staying at home doing nothing because we're looking after children.
But we don't have any impact on that whatsoever.
That's fine, but that's why I said we can be equal, but we have different functions. We're able to do different things and we need to accept that and embrace it. So we can get the best out of the union.
First 6 months.
But can I just say,
done. Now what?
But can I just say something? Yeah, in terms of a woman staying at home, she's not only just staying at home. In terms of how you grow as an individual, she's there helping you with your ideas. Women are visionaries, so they're going to be able. They may not be as supportive.
Why?
Because some men may. Yeah, I don't think we're the same. So some men may not be as visionaries. Like women, we're always thinking about our surroundings. We're not thinking about just A and B. We're thinking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're thinking about the whole picture. So when it comes to our guy and pushing him forward, we're thinking about all these avenues. Do you get what I'm saying?
Not thinking about that?
Why?
There's a process that
you guys think straight.
Yeah, exactly.
That guys are very, this is this is that, and women would think about all the things around it.
What's wrong with that? But I can still...
Because you can help her, but your focus may just be on, okay, babe, where do you want to be? Let's do this thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Or your focus may be on the kids or whatever.
What's wrong with that?
It's not what's wrong with it, but there's a process. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just because our process is different, why does that not mean that?
More. So in terms of how you...
What makes you say that?
What is the saying? Wherever there's a good man, there's a woman. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Why do they not use that saying for wherever there's a good woman, there's a man?
Yeah, because women are more time to support. So when a man is somewhere, it's the woman that's supporting.
So let me ask you this.
Because if
a man is at home...
Yeah.
Just sitting at home, what am I supporting?
No, he's doing the support.
He's
now.
supporting
No,
you.
I'm
He's
saying
supporting you.
you said
So
that
how is he supporting
you
her?
expect me to be happy
When the woman's
and
already
okay
driven?
with a guy that's just sitting at home. So what? How am I meant to be happy when I have nothing to support?
So then, what about on the flip side then? When a
But
man's
you know,
going
I'm
to
going
work,
by what you said.
no,
because
I'm
we're
saying
supporting.
that from the beginning, like more time, that's what it's been. Women have been the support. They've been supporting men. That's why it's been, good woman, equal, you be a strong man or whatever you said.
So you're saying you want to flip the script and be supportive now?
No, I'm just saying if
No,
that
but
was
then
to
that's
happen,
what it
would
is.
your
Like in
view
a
be that?
relationship, you both support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? But the
We're
level.
not just as supportive as you would be if you was at home. That's what you're saying. So you're telling us we're not going to be as supportive.
Yeah, that's what you was basically saying. Yeah, you're basically saying that women are better in terms of
because that was our primary role. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like because of our intuition, there's things that we want for ourselves. We have. Why are you laughing? What's happening? Because of our intuition, we have certain abilities. That's why we can foresee certain things and we can feel certain things that men may not be able to feel. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're able to stir and direct you in ways that a man may not be able to do that.
I don't agree with that. Why? I don't agree with that. I know. How can you just be saying? Why are you just saying stuff?
Yes.
What is this based on?
Where's the evidence to support?
I know, because at the end of the day, some of the most successful people,
I don't have evidence.
some of the most successful people in the world are men.
Let me ask you a question. Does equality, the way society sees it now, does it enable people to be in marriages now? Because we're now using the example of relationships, like man, woman, but the way society is set now, with the way equality is set in terms of, women are men are one and the same. Does that encourage people to be in relationships, or does it detract? Because what we're seeing now is there's more partnerships, or as you mentioned earlier, there are now people who are willing to be single. Like you mentioned that there's women who are single and successful. So does that equality, does it create a barrier where people don't want to, where men and women don't want to be working?
Have they not always been a choice? We're not forced or we're not pushed to get with anybody. We can do everything by ourselves. But if we feel we want to have companionship, then we go and seek it.
I know what you're saying though, because I feel like companionship now, I feel like women don't value it the same as they used to. Like back in the days, old school women, the way they valued marriage and family and companionship isn't the same now. Like, it's not as important.
Cultural changes, cultural differences.
I guess so.
I understand because like now a woman feels like they can do certain things on their own.
Yeah.
So it's like if a man is not able to provide it for her,
not even surrogate, IVF and all that. IVF. Some people.
That's later.
That's what they. No, but people are saying that. People are like, "Raw, if I don't have that man, I can still have my kids." Yeah. So I don't really need that companionship.
And it's been promoted to you as well. Exactly. As you said, like, what do I need a man for?
I think that's the risk of us not being able to say, okay, although we have equal value, we have different roles.
Exactly.
I do believe that, a man is the head of the home. I do believe that he should be like the manager of the home and the woman helps to support, and the woman is good at nurturing. Like it's a natural thing that she has, which is why you would normally see that the woman would stay and she would, make sure everything is running smoothly.
So you both agree that like a man's qualities, they're better in leading a family, driving a family. You both agree that, right? I believe a man should drive the family, a man should lead.
I believe, he should lead.
Do you agree? Honestly,
but the way
I just want you to answer that question.
Yeah, I think
so you believe a man should lead, yeah? Mm-hmm. So then in saying that, and you feel the reason why you're saying that is because you feel like they're equipped better to lead the family. They're more logical thinkers is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah.
And because of their egos.
Or whatever. Yeah. So then in saying that, if you feel like we're better to lead, does that now make us equal?
No, but then there's differences in the leadership and the position that you're playing in the home.
But then that still make us
it's
equal?
it's not even about, there's no competition between
100%.
men and women.
No, 100%.
Your role is different to my role.
I'm just thinking about the question. That's all I'm thinking. I'm just thinking about the question. Like I feel like we can both be respectful. Like we can both have good teamwork. Like in a business, for example, CEO, they need the whole operation from down to the cleaners to be able to do what they do effectively. They're still a part of that thing. They value everyone. David Beckham, when he was a footballer, he was appreciating the kit man to the cleaners. You know what I'm saying? Because he won't be able to do what he's doing without them. So it's a similar thing in the sense that is David Beckham and that cleaner equal just because they're both needed to function? And
equal in what sense though? Because that's
I
a
think
completely
that's a bit
different.
different.
I think you have to look at what you measuring equality with.
Yeah.
Is it pay? Like, is it
Exactly.
relevant? Like,
that's true. Actually.
you have to look at the metric you're measuring, because we just mentioned equality, but what are we measuring equality up against?
Thank you guys so much for coming. So sorry to cut you off. It's been a fantastic conversation. Thank you, Akin. Thank you, Bookie. Thank you, P. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let us know what you think about the conversation. There's so much more that we could delve into. So make sure you leave a comment. Thank you very much.